Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Sports Bros. I'm your host, Ken Collins, and as always, I'm joined with my brother, Kyle Collins.
Yay.
And today, NBA draft, which is still going on right now. We'll talk
I think
about
it
that a little
just
bit.
ended.
Just ended, okay.
Okay.
Um,
First
but
round
the
anyway.
first thing we want to talk about is that hot off the presses Giannis trade. Giannis to Miami. He will now be joining 83 point scorer Bam. I don't know if this makes them better, but I like the trade. They did announce that the Celtics really put in a bid to trade for him too. They offered Jaylen Brown and a first round pick, which I think that's not a bad offer. Obviously, what Miami was offering was a lot more. They get Tyler Hero, they get a little bit younger core. They still get some more picks and more players for Giannis to fill out that roster. Right now, if you look at Miami's roster, they're going to have to do some work in the offseason to continue to fill that out. But I want about to talk about real quick the trade that did not happen in it because I feel like Jaylen Brown for Giannis is an even trade, and you throw in a first round pick. Milwaukee just wanted more. You feel like Giannis for Jaylen Brown would have been an even trade?
Even in the sense that I think that the value that they can add either way is good. I mean, if we really look at what Jalen did this year, the dude balled out. He was minus their superstar, and he played at superstar caliber all season. And so he showed that he can be the guy, in a system, and he had those players around him. I think they are a better team, obviously, with Jason on there. And I wonder how this, being traded or being on the trading block is going to affect him mentally. I mean, excuse me, it would affect most players. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little tension, but hopefully he can you know look past that and really go out there and again prove his worth. And I mean, he might ask for a trade himself.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think
you
if
know,
there's one player that can kind of deal with that, it's a Jaylen Brown. I know
he's
that
been dealing with it. Yeah.
he's been dealing with he deals with adversity very well.
Hmm.
Again, that goes to his play when he had to be the dude and he stepped up and we saw all of that, right? I think this maybe adds a chip to his shoulder where he
Yeah,
balls out even more. And I think he's also one of those players that understands at the end of the day it's a business too.
it is.
So if that was part of the business of what you felt, cool.
I
Maybe
don't. I,
I mean,
I don't think Milwaukee went for it just because of the direction that they're going in. Jalen wouldn't himself be enough for what they're trying to do. I think they're, I get said a lot. They blew it up. They blew up the whole thing. Getting rid of Giannis in general is blowing something up. And to that point, I think Giannis makes any team better. He's just one of those players. Um, but you still need to have guys around him to complete the team. I think that just having Giannis replace Jalen does make him better, but it doesn't give Milwaukee what they need, as far as the completing the team, like you said, making the younger roster, but having those
yeah,
options,
yeah,
the potential draft picks, because we really never know who they're going to be until they get to the league. Because some guys' games just don't translate
yep,
to the
yep,
NBA. So there's a lot of questions still in that, and it'd be easier to, you know, um, either coach or send down a player who's comes on as a draft pick or a rookie, or get other guys, because you have those draft picks to then build around the guys that you have, that you like, the core that you look like you want to go with
yeah,
with the guys that they picked up. I mean, because it's not like they got nobody. They got
yeah.
players.
Tyler Hero is a baller, and
He,
he's young still. So
yeah.
they got somebody. I don't know if that makes them better in the West. Again, that's going to maybe what they acquire in the offseason. Again, we talked about the draft, how they do in the draft over the next 2 days and things like that. Now to the team that did win the Giannis sweepstakes. I was hoping it was going to be our Warriors. I would have loved to see Giannis and Steph. That just wasn't the case this time. But now he's
We
paired up
yelling.
with yeah, he's paired up with Bam. Bam probably will play the five, which allows Giannis to play the four.
Yeah,
Uh, that's I
which we're
think that's
talking
pretty
numbers.
crucial.
You know,
Yeah,
those guys kind of play around the court.
yeah. So it's and you could have one on the court and intertwine them so that one can get
Hmm.
rest and one cannot. So I mean, it's a good big man duel. Don't get me wrong. I think that that's a really good big man duel. I think
Yeah.
that does put them into some sort of contention in the East, but I don't think it's championship level with
No,
it.
but I think that makes them a playoff contender. You know, and I say contender because once you're in the playoffs, anything can happen. I mean, they could be
Yeah.
an injury away from winning, a series that they weren't supposed to.
I mean, he
So
made the playoffs in the West with Chris Middleton being the second best player on the team, right? But I also think that that championship was kind of when the West had maybe a down year with all of the perennial teams that were there.
uh,
The year that they
cool,
won the chip, when
cool.
Milwaukee won the championship.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, yes.
I think that
So
was a year Steph was injured.
yeah, there
Um,
was there was
there was
there was
there
some
was it
reasons
was
for it. There was
it
some
there was a
reasons for it.
reasons there were some reasons for it.
And I mean, not, and it's not taken away from him, but we talked about this in the earlier episode about having those caveats to some of these championships. Like this big
Hmm.
championship, you don't hear people talking a lot about that because you really did have two relatively healthy, teams. Nobody's ever 100%. Um, that went at each other, and the Knicks were a better team. That's just what it boiled down to. They
Right,
they they were
right.
a better team
Like
at the time.
the Knicks were a better team at the time, for the finals, and that's a championship you'll talk about. Uh,
You know,
there are yeah, you're right. There are
nobody talks
championships.
about the bubble chip unless they say the bubble chip. So it's
Right. And even when the Raptors went against the Warriors, it's like, well,
uh, two
K-
guys go
KD
down.
KD and Clay went down. Like
you
like
know,
like what was all you had to do was focus on
if
Steph the whole
if
time. You could put
If Kawhi
you could play
doesn't
five
win
on
that,
one.
it's kind of
Right,
like,
yeah. You could
what are
play
you
five
doing?
on one. What are you doing? So it's yes, there are championships where when you look at it, it's like, okay, we
Yeah,
go back and look. That
yeah.
road might have been a little, and then there's the ones like the Knicks just won, where it's just like you went through like no, y'all had Jason Tatum back with the
Hmm.
Celtics, and y'all didn't get it done. He
They
he
they beat
they they
the
beat
Cavs.
Cleveland,
They
the
beat
Cavs
the
with
Cavs.
beat the
Cleaned
Cavs
them
with
up. They beat the shit
Donovan
out of
Mitchell
the
and
Cavs.
James Harden was
Yeah,
there. Like they
yeah.
went through these dudes, right? And then they went through Wimby. So
Hmm.
like that's a legit chip. Giannis, he did take his team, but it was like, okay, the West was a little
Shaky at the
fugazi. It
time,
was a little
little
shaky
hurt
at the
at the
time,
time. Yeah.
right? And then like and at that point in time, it was any team in the West was beating any team in the East. It was what it is. So now that he's in the East, this should theoretically be an easier path, but I don't think those teams are better than the Knicks, the Sixers, Detroit,
Cavs, Detroit,
the
yeah.
Cavs,
Even
With
Indiana, with
Indiana with
Halliburton
Halliburton
coming
coming
back.
back.
Hmm.
Like they're probably if maybe they're a top 10 team in the East, but they're not
Yeah.
top five, top six,
Which
or
is
seven.
is well, I guess 10 is a play in, but I mean, they're to me, I feel like they they're probably an AC. They're probably an AC team, and that's still barely getting in there. They're
Yeah.
not into being a play-in team and win the one game to be a playoff team. But I do think that having Giannis there, and also depending again yet on what they do. I mean, we still got trades that can still happen. Get put players in place. Although
Yeah.
Miami doesn't have very many chips left, but they could move something. They could get somebody who in the draft who turns out to
Look,
be that superstar. I
I
mean,
was looking at
look
their
at Cat.
roster. I was looking at their roster. I'm like, who gonna pass him the ball?
Who's gonna pass him? I was thinking the same thing. I was like,
They ain't
it's
got
gonna
no
be Gian-
guards. They got
it's
like
gonna
one
be
guard.
Giannis to Bam Bam to Giannis. They're
What
gonna stand
happens
at
if
half court
he
and
get
wait.
injured or something happen? Like they got like one guard. Like
They got one
who gonna
guard.
pass him the ball? Like what nobody to control the tempo of the game. Like
Yeah,
but their
we've seen
GM
Giannis do that
is
though.
yeah. They do have the godfather of basketball though in their GM and Pat Riley.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
until he ain't Riley no more, I'm still gonna have some faith in Pat Riley to put all this
That's
together
Spoelstra.
by the
I
time
mean,
the thing. Oh, Spoelstra could coach his ass off.
he
Yeah,
can coach. So it should make it interesting. For the East. Like I said when the Knicks won, the East is going to get shaken up. We know the West is going to get some shakes here too, but I think it really all depends as far as the East goes. It really depends on how all of these trades end up shaking out, and because I feel like that they're collecting picks for something else. Milwaukee is so they. I think they're doing something. Something's going on, and they're trying to figure out a way to be a contending team again next year,
yeah, yeah,
without necessarily having to wait on these young guys to pick it up and keep going. Because if we look at the league, especially in the last couple of years, young teams are winning,
yeah,
and that
yeah,
means young teams can win. So if you have the right young core, you can get to that playoff spot. But you do still need those vets, those guys on the bench. And actually, you mentioned Harrison Barnes, and I felt like after you mentioned that, I had to really think about it and go look at some of the games and see where he is. And he needed to be that big brother in the locker room that I don't
yeah,
feel like he really
yeah.
was, or even on the
I
court, like going
I
like,
even
you know,
I even
we got
I
to.
even
He's
truly
championship
believe.
caliber. He's won.
Here's the thing too. I truly believe if Chris Paul was still on that team, even if he's not on the court, his leadership from the bench and
I think
talking to De'Aaron Fox and talking to Wimby, like that changes the dynamic of maybe how
it
they
does.
play.
I think it was his him and the coaches, and it wasn't the team that he didn't get along with. It was the coaches and the staff that he was having issues with, which is why they probably let him go the way they did. I mean, he literally got fired on his day off. So it's like I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you because there's nothing like that experience. There really is. There's no replacing that. Not that you can't win without it, but it makes it a lot easier to win with it. And like we were talking about, having that guy that can guide you and be okay still sitting on the bench, but being your cheerleader, being your player coach makes a huge difference. And yeah, they needed that, and it showed because you're absolutely right. Those mistakes they made at the end of the game, Chris Paul would have been all in their ass about that. And it might have fixed it. It might have, rubbed off on him. It might not have, but you don't know because he's not there. But I think history shows us that does that type of leadership on off the court or on the court or on the sideline from those vets does make a difference.
Yep. So who should Miami go out there and get to fill out that roster? Like what's somebody you looking at like, okay, go get that point guard, and that might be the piece that helps them make them a little bit better.
Well, I mean, you called it out. They definitely need a guard, especially now they don't have one like whatsoever. I think there's a couple of guys that could potentially work out for them. To be honest with you, I know you're gonna think I'm crazy. I think Jordan Poole would actually, but I do. I really think that he could add to. I mean, if he got out of his own head, I mean, the dude could still shoot. I mean, he's a good guard. He just I think he's gone through some after getting punched in the face. He's gone through a lot.
So here's what I think about this Miami trade. I think Milwaukee wins in this trade. I think what ends up happening, it's just kind of like the same thing, kind of like with Kevin Durant, right? You trade for a caliber player like this, you got to gut your roster in order to get them. And then you start to try to fill out the pieces, and that superstar player is theoretically in the same place they were before, where they've got to carry the team and there's no help around them to do
Mm-hmm.
anything, and they don't have any assets or money in order to do that. So now the reality of it is we kind of got to see. I'm going to give it 2 seasons because if they're able to maybe work out a deal with Giannis where they have a little bit of cap space and they have some money, they don't have to go into the second apron, and they can maybe work out some young guys or maybe get another seasoned vet to come over that can help facilitate the ball, play with them. They need shooters around Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
Giannis needs shooters around him, right? That's why like giving up Tyler Hero was a little
Was
give up
probably
Tyler.
who they had to give up.
But so
That's who they had to give up to get him.
nah, because you could have gave up Norman Powell, or you could have
It,
gave up Bam.
but then that to me that's a bigger give than Tyler. But yes, you have a point guard then with Giannis, but I think that's a bigger give up than Tyler. Or Bam would have been a bigger loss for Miami than Tyler Hero is. I feel like there's so many guards that go um, overlooked because that guard position is dominated by so many top guys. But those second guys, third guys coming off the bench, I mean, even if you look at our own team, I mean, we've got a plethora of guards, and yeah, I mean, imagine a pods on Miami or even uh, uh, who do we just who came back from injury right now last season. Uh, I can't think of his name.
From injury.
Yeah, the point guard came back from injury.
Who?
He injured his
Milton.
leg. Milton, like a Milton, you know what I mean? Like one of those kind of guys. Like so, those are second, third guys
Oh,
on the.
you definitely don't need like a superstar point guard. You
You
need a
don't
capable point guard.
exactly.
Like can he shoot, right? Can he
Mm-hmm.
hit open shots when they're trying to get on Giannis and everything else? Can he shoot and can he facilitate?
Can he facilitate?
That's
Yeah.
it.
Can you slow it down when you need to slow it
You slow it
down?
down when
Speed
we
up
need
when you need to
to,
speed up. Yeah.
score when we need to. Like don't necessarily like scoring needs to be like the second thing you're doing.
Right.
Like facilitating this ball out and making sure Giannis and Bam get fed because Giannis can kind of stretch the floor a little bit, right? Giannis has a decent enough outside shot where he doesn't have to stay under the basket, and he's got decent enough ball handling skills
So
to
yeah, to
where
get in a lot.
if he needs to, he can. If you got a little space, he can get to the basket,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can still plant Bam under there. So now you got Giannis in the mid range where you got to
Yeah.
pull the big guy out. You can feed Bam. Bam can shoot too. So let's not get it twisted.
Oh yeah.
Bam
You
don't
don't get
necessarily got to be
83
under the
not being
basket
able to
too.
shoot.
You can still play 4 out or 5 out, run some plays with them where they're stretching the ball out, and you can get Bam underneath. He's got good footwork. Like Bam's a baller. So it's the middle isn't going to be clogged because you can still get that. So if they're trying to get them to come out, can you get a guard that can drive and score? Play the pick and roll with either one of them. That's really all you really need,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where you can kind of run pick and roll, you can run 4 out, 5 out, switch up the defense, have some motion, and Bam and Giannis can defend.
Yeah.
So on the defensive end, like you'll be able to switch.
Which I think is going to really benefit them to make it easier, even on offense, without those
Mm-hmm.
guard or those scores like that, because they're going to get a lot of transition baskets off defense, and rebound and outlet, rebound outlet, rebound outlet. Let's run the court. We got guys that are going to rebound damn near every time. Those two are going to pull down a lot of rebounds for the team. They just got to get out in transition and get easy early buckets, and not wait until the defense has time to set up for them to have to try to run something. And then when they do, they got Bam and Giannis, and they can run through their motions. I mean, you can even set pick and rolls with the two of them, and see where that takes you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a hard ass, switch off right there. You know what I mean? So for either, defender. So it's going to be interesting for sure. Miami does need to fill in that point guard spot. Um, and let's not forget about Andrew Wiggins. He is another guy that can score. He can shoot. So it's not like they don't have shooters anymore. They don't have elite shooters, but
You
they
know
have
what?
guys who can
I did forget
knock.
Wiggins was on the Heat, right? That does change things a little bit because we personally know
Mm-hmm.
Wiggins as a third or fourth option is dangerous.
It's dangerous. It's
It's
dangerous when he has
dangerous
to be number one.
when he
Ugh.
decides he wants to play. He is. Listen, let's not get it sweet. He is an elite defender.
Yeah,
And he'll quietly have like 25 points.
real
You'll be like,
quiet.
did that guy even play in the game? And then you go look at the stats, and it's like, when did he score 25? You know what I'm saying?
25.
Like
Yeah,
he'll have the quietest 40-point game in your life.
in your life.
So
Yeah.
so all right, I'm a
Have
bum bum.
five,
I
six
forgot about
rebounds.
Wiggins. So
Yeah.
depending on how Wiggins decides he wants to play in the season, you're
Hmm.
right. That does put them in that I'll give them 7 to 10
Yeah,
now instead of
see?
8 to 10.
Yeah, they got a shot. They got
I
a
can't
shot.
put them into the 6 range. I can't. I
No,
can't.
I mean, there's too
I
many teams
can't.
that, as of right now, if we're talking about right now, if everybody's healthy, yeah, you're right. They're outside that top six. They're definitely 7 or 8. But I think they could quietly sneak in there if, like we said, they throw that one more piece in there that is a solid point guard position at the point guard position.
Yeah. All right. So the hot thing that happened tonight, the NBA draft. Um, pulling up right now, the top 10 picks. So while I'm doing that,
You might as well do top 11.
top 11. Well, I was gonna get into that, right? Because while I'm doing that, let's talk about this 11th pick for our Golden State Warriors. Do you like the pick?
I do like the pick. I think it strengthens us at that position, especially with Jimmy hurt. And, I mean, technically that's Draymond's position too, but we know he plays all over the court. We needed another forward who plays big. And I think they got it in this guy. I watched him a little bit during March Madness, and I liked his game. It's definitely a solid pick, and I can see it, paying early dividends. I can see it working really well with what they're trying to do now. He rebounds, which I
He does
like.
rebound.
He
He does
rebounds.
rebound. He does rebound.
Um,
So I had to call your nephew while the draft was going on, especially when it got to that 11th pick, because he is a Michigan fan
there you go.
and he loves him some Michigan basketball
Yeah.
players.
He would have been proud about my Jordan Poole comments.
Jordan Poole with his Jordan Poole was his guy. He does not allow for Jordan Poole slander, even though I tipped it at times. He does not allow for Jordan Poole slander. When we went to a game when he was younger, I was like, you can get any jersey you want. He picked Jordan Poole's jersey. Okay.
Yeah,
So he was like, he played at Michigan. I was like, I
and the
forget.
three, I
He's a
get it.
Wolverines fan.
The number three.
I showed him when he was playing ball, old school footage. He was a fan of the Fab Five. You know what I'm saying?
There you
And
go.
then, so that's where that came from, right? And Jalen Rose. Um, so then of course when he came out to Vegas and they had they had a tournament and Michigan was in the tournament, I took him to go see that. So Yaxel Loganberg, I think that's how you say his
That's how
name.
you say, yeah.
Yaxel
Logan,
Loganberg, he
Loganberg.
got to see him play up close. And
Oh,
when I tell
nice.
you the
Yeah.
dude balled out, right? And he was like, Dad, he was at the we saw him when we saw him play. Did you see how he played in the tournament? Come on
Yeah.
now. He's a baller. This is who we should have picked. I was like, okay, Homer. Um, so he's very excited about that pick.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
I'm not mad at it either. The kick and ball. The kick and ball. It's a really good pick. Um, I think if they didn't think that they could get someone like this kind of player, they probably would have packaged it and traded it.
Hmm.
Keep in mind, I'm not saying this dude will become him, but we got one Clay Thompson at the 11th pick.
Yeah. Or number
So
11, too. How about that?
we got Clay Thompson at the 11th pick when Clay Thompson was drafted. And again, I'm not saying he's going to become Clay Thompson or anything like that.
Oh, I
But
wouldn't be
but
mad at
we know
history
but we
repeating itself.
but if we get him if we get half a Clay Thompson out of this dude, that's still balling. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like that's still balling. So
I think
so
he's got a different inside skill set than Clay, too, though. We
hmm
don't need him
well
to
he's a,
necessarily go out and
yeah,
shoot.
well Clay was a
shoot.
guard. He's the second greatest shooter God ever created. Um And so we lucked up. We had the greatest shooting duo of all time, right?
Absolutely.
I don't expect that out of him. He's a four. What I'm looking for out of this is someone to replace that Draymond spot. And I hope Draymond gets the message like, bro, you might have to start coming off the bench.
I don't honestly think he'll be mad at that. I really want to hope that he's about winning, and he clearly can be effective as a coach on the bench. Granted, that stems from him starting and having that like that ability to I don't know, talk to the younger guys with
Yeah, but
I can do it, you can do it, type,
I
you know what I
think,
mean? Like it's
but I don't think at this point in his career, him starting adds to that, right?
no, that's what I mean. Yeah, like I agree with
I
you.
think they,
He
I
can do
think
that
now we
from
got players that kind of. I grew up watching you play. He's at that status now,
he
and
is, which is
so
okay.
right.
He
Oh,
gets,
that's
but
fine.
he can still get out
That's
there and
fine.
go, and I think that saves
Right.
him too. That saves his body.
But
I
also
think
looking, yeah,
his
and that's my
energy.
thing. It's like, bruh, you might be the one finishing games. I would rather him not start and have more energy come to the end of the game,
Hmm.
especially because we see he can still defend at a very high level,
Right,
right? And have the ability to, in position, to be able to stop the dude when we need him to,
right.
and as opposed to having the well, I'm Draymond Green, I need to start. No, I'm Draymond Green, I'm gonna stop your best dude. So if that means I need to sit on the bench because I need to be in the game at the right time, not the start time,
Hmm.
that's a huge difference.
But that's the it's a mentality, right? Because I feel like there's a lot of young guys that struggle when they come off the bench versus starting. We saw that early with Jordan Poole. He struggled when he had to come off the bench, but he excelled when he
It's
started
his
because
mind.
it's mental. That's what
It's
I'm saying. Like,
mental. It's
what
bro,
was
you're
it?
not starting over Steph Curry, and
You're
you're
not
not
starting over
starting over
Steph.
Klay Thompson.
And,
Like like like
and both Steph and Clay had one of their best games. They both have a lot of them, but I'm coming off the bench. I mean, the stat, for the bench players because they came off the bench was just, astronomical. Like you have,
here's
the
the cold
bench play,
part.
talk about that. But coming
Here's the
off the
cold
bench
part.
doesn't mean that you're not the best player on the court when you're on the court. You can still
Right.
be the.
I think if there was another young point guard that on the team and Steph knew it would help the team for him to come off the bench, he would do it. But Jordan Poole just wasn't there, and we're gonna get off Jordan Poole. Steph's career wasn't at that point yet.
No,
Well,
I
because I
think
want to shine, because I want to shine light to the new draft pick, right? And talk about these young guys because
our draft pick
man,
last year
yeah,
came out for us. I think
yeah,
that's a guy that Steph would respectfully bow to. Like once he has his whole game together, and he becomes that dude, because I think it's possible.
because these guys, they just, they just made some dreams come true, and I want to highlight that. So here's the top 10. You had AJ the Beasta from BYU, Darren Peterson from Kansas, Cameron Boozer. So we got another
Loser. Yeah,
Boozer, another generation son coming into the Lou from Duke. Caleb Wilson out of UNC went number 4 to Chicago. The Clippers drafted Keaton Wagler out of Illinois. We got Mikael Brown Jr. out of Louisiana, and he's going to the Brooklyn Nets. The Kings, the team, the the
that's it.
Kings.
Woo. Yeah,
Darius Akoff Jr. out of Arkansas. With the eighth pick, Atlanta selected Kingston Flemington out of Houston, and Houston has some ballers on their squad. With the ninth pick, we had Morez Johnson Jr., also from Michigan, like our guy from the 11th pick. And rounding out that top 10, we had Braden Berries going to Milwaukee, guard out of Arizona. So I'm interested to see what Milwaukee looks like with the new trade picks, the new team. They definitely got younger. They got
Hmm.
more athletic. They got more shooters. Um, I, Again, I think the first 2 years of this trade might be in Milwaukee's favor, especially being in the West. I feel like the West is younger. The West is younger. Um, and what we saw in the finals is
But we got two of the
the
oldest
diff.
teams in the league, Clippers and the
Well,
Warriors.
here's where I was going with this. What I think what we saw in the finals is age doesn't matter, cohesiveness does,
Absolutely.
and experience and everything else. Keep in mind that them boys have been playing together since college. Like their little core three been playing together since college, right? And they've been in the league for a while now. They're all in their 30s or close to 30. The young guys in the West are outrunning the older dudes, but we also see if LeBron and Steph are healthy and have help, even KD, you're not beating them.
No,
You're
you're
not
not.
beating them. And so I'm very interested to see because Tyler Hero's been in the league for a while. He's got vet status now.
Hmm.
Their team, I think, is a good blend of vets and young ones. And I think that's kind of the magic that you need. If Luka's healthy, with LeBron in those playoffs, the Lakers make noise. Even Austin Reeves, if he's healthy, they go a little further. They might have even made the Western Conference Finals, dare I say, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So
AR was playing out
so
of his mind. Luca was
yeah,
he had a great season.
and
Yeah.
that's why with the whole rumors with LeBron possibly coming to the Warriors or even Kawhi coming to the Warriors, right? Because I that's been something that's circulating too. That's very dangerous. You pair a Kawhi with a Steph,
Hmm.
and if I don't
And a
want to butcher his
Draymond,
name,
two of the
and a
best,
Dray,
two
and
of the two
with this
top
young rookie, which
defenders.
I think he's ready to play now. I think he's one of those
Hmm.
players coming out the draft that's going to be ready. I think Boozer's ready to play now. I think AJ's ready to play now. Which, of course, he's the number one pick, and I think we got one of the other players that's kind of ready to play now. Um, you just kind of see it in their game. It's going to translate. So we'll see what happens. This was an interesting draft. We didn't get to talk a lot about it. Um, but whenever a player like Giannis gets traded, it's gonna get talked about.
It dominates it. Yeah.
It definitely dominates it. Um, but you know what? There's more to come all through the week. We will keep everybody updated on trades, what happens with drafts. I want to talk a little NFL next week too,
Yes,
because
yes. It's about that season.
it's about
Gotta get
that
ready
season.
for it.
Training camp is going to get ready to come up, so
Yeah.
we'll talk a little NFL next week as well, or the rest of this week as well. As always, I'm your host Ken Collins, joined with my brother Kyle Collins, and this is Sports Bros. Make sure to please comment, like, subscribe, and hit that alert button. We out. Peace.
Peace.